G'day guys. So we got a new episode and in the new workshop, which is pretty cool. Minus the hoist though. The hoist is still on the floor, unfortunately. So this is going to be the first job that we do, but we're going to be scrambling on the floor for this one just because of time, but that's all good. So we've got a GU Patrol in the background, as you can see it, and we're going to be engine swapping it. Currently it's got the ZD30, and we're going to be dropping in a TD42 turbo engine. So the straight 6-boy, which is going to be pretty cool.
That's cool.
It's got all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah, go brother. Alrighty, this is the engine that we'll be plucking out. So we've got a lot of things to start disconnecting. Probably won't go through every single thing that we're going to disconnect. I'll probably just time lapse it. You guys get the idea. We're trying to get the engine out. So what we're going to do is, because we're not doing this with a hoist, which is probably pretty good because if you guys attempt this yourself, you'll probably not have a hoist as well. We're going to take the wheels off and we're going to drop the axle onto some jack stands. That way it gives us our best shot, you know, getting this down low enough so that the engine crane can pull it out. So we'll probably do that first and then that'll give us some room. Somehow I drew the short straw, so I'm going to start disconnecting the bell housing bolts under here. Brendo, is he sure you don't want to do it?
I'm good.
No, he's good. Alright, we are pretty much ready to get out now, so we've got plenty of room out the front. Everything's disconnected, bell housing bolts are off, clutch slave is off, the dumper's off, so we're ready to go. Yeah, it's got the AC stuff, and we'll just push it forward off the gearbox and see how she goes. Motor is out. So now it's going to throw all the little bits that we had to take off back on there, and someone's going to come pick it up tomorrow actually. So we'll just slap it on the back of their car and it's all theirs. And we've got to make some room for the TD. So we're going to pull some things off that engine as well. We're going to get the engine harness and stuff sent away and get some plugs on it that get it rearranged and changed. So we're going to do a bit of tidy up in here as well because there's a bit chaotic wires everywhere. So good stuff. Good news, guys. We just got the TD engine. We just pulled it off the back of the owner's car. He just went and picked it up from down in Victoria. It was a bit of a drive, so we just plucked him off. Here it is. Okay, so we got the car on the hoist. We are going to start chipping away at the list now. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the bell housing off and replace it for the TD42 bell housing, which is pretty straightforward, hopefully. So Brando's is going to get that changed over. This is the TD42 one, and obviously this guy is the ZD bell housing. So pull those bolts off. We're going to get some fresh parts as well, get a new release bearing, and give the clutch fork a bit of a service. So Brando's is in here just removing the engine mounts because we're not going to need those anymore. So both sides, he's going to knock them off and then clean up the chassis rail and get it all ready for the new ones. And I'm over here mucking around with the release bearing because it's a bit shagged, so we're going to fix that up. Get tools. So this is how you'll see them when you pull them off. And there's a big bearing. This is what runs up against the clutch, and you can hear it. It doesn't sound very healthy. So we'll get a new release bearing, and then this is like the bearing carrier, this bit on the back here. That looks all fine, so we'll try and reuse that. But we're just going to press this off right now. There she is. So this is what's been happening. Brando's has completely prepped the chassis rails for the first test fit of the engine. Bell housing is on, and those bolts are Loctite and torqued up, so they're finally done. We're not going to run the release bearing or anything because we've got a new one coming, and we're just putting the engine in to get our engine mounts in place and stuff. So we've got the engine on the crane, and we're about to lift him in and have the first look of what the TD looks like inside. We had to wrestle him a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Brando's is underneath getting the bell housing, or just a few of the bell housing bolts in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave it on the engine crane. Obviously we don't have engine mounts welded to the chassis at the moment, so the front of the engine's not supported by anything. So we're going to leave that on the engine crane. We're going to lift up, when we got some bolts in, we're going to lift the engine up as much as possible before the gearbox starts to interfere with the tunnel. And we're going to slip the engine mount, weld in engine mounts onto the chassis rails where we think they should go, bolt them up, drop the engine down until everything looks like it's sitting in place where we want it, and then we're going to throw some tacks at it have another look, make sure we're happy with it and all that, and then pull the engine back out and then weld those up. So it's a bit hard to show you, but those engine mounts, it's really hard to show you. They're tacked in. So we wiggled the motor around until it kind of just slowly sat itself into place. You can see this one pretty well. So going in, you can see him tacked in place there. And we pretty much just dropped it in, and then we just jiggled it until the motor it just stopped jiggling, like it was on a bit, because the engine mounts are on a taper. So we just kind of found its spot until there was a tiny bit of weight on the motor and the engine mounts, and tacked them in place, and here we are. So now we're up to the spot where we've just looked at our AC lines and stuff that we've got to modify to make work. I think it normally would have just bolted straight up, but we've got the rear AC in this, like this is the top of the line GU, so we're going to have to modify them to make them work. But other than that, everything's sweet. So we're going to go pull the engine out now, and then Shirtfire over here is going to weld them up. We got the engine out. Show you the mounts. We got one there and one there. So now Shirtfire is going to get the old welder on them, give them a good buzzing, and then we're going to treat the arch here with some rust converter, prime all this, and then tomorrow we get some paint on it. We've got some AC mods to do, and I'm going to do a few bits and bobs on the engine while it's out, give it a full service and whatnot, and then she'll be ready for a final fitment. Engine install time. Let's go have a look and see what Brendo's has got sorted for us. So nicely painted chassis, engine mounts fully welded and painted. We also gave the wheel arch a bit of a spruce up, as it had a bit of rust and stuff on it. So the next step's pretty simple. Get the engine in there. So Brando's is just putting the slave on. We've got a new slave as well, so just going to take a little bit to bleed up. We'll probably get the brake sucker and suck some fluid through. Oh, that's what we should have done. We should have just topped it up. Oh yeah.
Nice close-up action.
I can get closer.
Put the bolt in the hole.
Who said I was looking at the slave? Oh, actually, I am looking at the slave. So the clutch is feeling really good. We just bled it up, and we're happy with that. So we can continue on doing up all the bolts, all the lines, everything that needs to be done in order to get this thing running. So let's get straight into it. Okay, things are looking pretty good on the Patrol. We've been trying to fit radiators. Actually, you know what? Things haven't been going that great with the radiator. We've got two different radiators. We've got the tall one and we've got the wide one. This tall one isn't going to fit because it physically just won't fit. So we're going to run with the wide one, and we've just ordered our hoses to suit the wide version because the outlet is obviously wider on the wide radiator. We're trying to get our hands on a shroud as well. Brendo's is topping the oil up, or putting oil in it, I should say. And what else needs to be done? Just like I said, we got to get that radiator in.
Fuel system.
Yeah, we've got a fuel system going in. A lift pump set up now because we've got a... I don't know if it's an upgraded pump actually.
Yeah, 11 mil.
It is an 11 mil. Okay, so we've got an 11 mil pump in there, just with the factory lift setup. So we will upgrade that, make that a bit better, a bit peppier, and then when it comes time to tuning, should be a little nicer to deal with. So
The dump one as well.
yeah, we've got to do some exhaust stuff, and we'll get it running before we put our top mount on, so we can make sure everything's fine. We're going to do something here as well, and Brendo's is going to get onto that lift pump setup shortly as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Just wire her up.
then we got to get, hopefully we get the loom today as well, if not tomorrow probably, and then we can get that wiring stuff happening. There's a couple of wires I can actually deal with now as well, when I'm bored, which is never, so a couple things going on, but this is the top mount we're going to put in. So one of the ones that just has like the brace that goes all the way to the front of the car. Got to do the modification for the dump. Yeah, looking pretty good. So we'll keep going. Place is a bit of a state now, so we might have to do a bit of a cleanup also. Alright, what's going on, Brendos? What are you doing?
Just modified the dump to actually fit. So change that to a 2-bolt flange to a 3. And that Tigger on.
Cool.
Right.
Very good.
Thanks, factory.
Sweet as. That's not too much work then. And then I think that's the same dump pipe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we just had to shorten up that secondary midsection there, yeah. So that's not too much drama. Cool. Alright, this morning we got our wiring back from Gold Coast Patrols and Mechanical. So they basically make this a plug and play system, which is pretty fun for Brendos and I, because we can just plug and play. So I have just laid the loom over here so I can start to tangle her in, basically. Brendo's is getting the radiator sorted. We have a shroud coming as well, which is not the ZD one. Oh, music's turned on me. So yeah, we've got the right shroud coming. We had the ZD one instead of the TD one, so that'll fix that problem. And then we're going to run the wired radiator. And then I'm just going to modify some AC lines, and we'll see if we can fire this puppy up today, I reckon. Cool. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, give her a crank. As you heard, we just got the engine running. you might have thought that the valve train sounded really noisy, but it's probably because we got the intake just wide open at the moment, so you're hearing all those valves tapping away. So once we plumb that in, it should quieten down a lot more. So now we're just going to go around, check oil pressure, check for leaks, check for fuel leaks, and make sure that everything's dialed. Neaten up the wiring a bit more now, and finish off the little bits and bobs that we got going on. It's like this sort of stuff. And then we can start putting other things back together, like the intercooler and whatnot. So things are looking pretty good. We got the radiator in. We've got the correct shroud for that too now. Everything clears. We're all happy with that. I've modified the AC line to work. I just welding that little flange on here, but we'll see. We've done a little vacuum test or pressure test, but we'll see how that goes when we go to the actual test. And then this is the other one here that just bolted straight on. Going down to the compressor. What else have we got? We've got some more wires installed. We've just been buttoning things up a little bit. Brendo's just put some coolant in, so we can run it for a bit longer now, which is nice. And yeah, we're looking really good. So the next thing we're going to do is we've got to install our lift pump. Now that we know that it runs and stuff and it sounds healthy, which is somewhere. It's over there on the shelf. So we've got a bit of a parts thing going on over here. So we're going to install a little carter, and we're going to put him around about here, I'd say. Well, let me turn the camera. I'm going to put him up in here, keep it nice and close to the tank, because these things push really well, but they don't suck really well, so you want to get them really close to the tank. Big girl's on her feet after all that work, so we're only waiting in the engine bay. We're only waiting on a silicone joiner for the intake, which we should be getting today, and I've just got to throw all my tuning stuff on it to have a look, make sure that it's running okay when we go for a test drive. Other than that, Brendo's is cutting a hole in the bonnet for the new scoop for the top mount, so that's underway, looking pretty cool. So we're about to test fit that, make sure that fits up nice and good. Otherwise, yeah, she's back on the all fours. Everything's looking pretty good. We're just going to come off the hoist now and put that accelerator pedal in and connect that up, and then bonnet on and hopefully get this thing on the road.